gentlemen, may I direct your attention to something quite extraordinary?
Chris, the Herons are back. And we got Messi.
What's going on? What? Where is the information? I guess we're getting ready for a sister kissing fiesta.
I felt like we were playing a 2-8. It was just a 2-8.
Let me tell you, Danny is about to get destroyed in the chat. So
Are we kissing sisters, Chris?
Maybe stepsisters, but not regular sisters. I've done a little bit of research on him. When it comes to FIFA, this guy's 68.
We're going to have the greatest player of all time on the team. If there's a time to believe, it's now.
It looks like a heron shat all over it. So you guys are literally getting excited for a ranked 65 player on FIFA 23. We got some pretty good FIFA cards on our squad now. All right.
You gotta understand, Kevin. This is how we scout our players here on the show.
Just look at FIFA cards.
No question about it. I am ready to get hurt again.
Chris, the Herons are back. Welcome, everybody, to episode number 127 of the Battle Herons podcast. I am your host, Daniel Granada. Alongside me, as always, Mr. KBD. How are you doing, sir?
Listen, we're days away from a game, Danny. Days.
Days. That's
You feel it?
5 days. And I still don't know how I'm going to watch it. Maybe our guest has some idea of how, but I have no idea how we're going to watch it, but it's got to be televised somewhere.
We're probably going to have one of our reporters do like incognito reporting and just like drop 5-minute updates on Twitter or something.
Like what Franco did at FIU last year?
Franco. Yep.
All right, but not Franco today. We do have a special guest. We got Mr. Tom Bogert, joining us today. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good. How about you, fellas? And I will say, I'll already answer the first question. I get the preseason stream question a lot, and I have for years. It's as frustrating to me as it is to everybody else. Usually I have no idea. Usually it's not streamed. So.
No, it's ridiculous. I have no idea how we're going to watch it, but it's got to be a way because we've been waiting for this for quite a while. Before we get started, though, on just the regular questions, I did have a question. In the United States, obviously, MLS isn't considered one of the biggest sports. How exactly did you end up covering MLS?
Yeah, so I've always been a soccer guy. It was pretty clear, I think, by the time early in high school that I might not quite make it as a professional, given my lack of elite athleticism or elite touch, or any of the general skills that go into being a professional. Not to mention determination and drive, right? Discipline. So then I stumbled into a journalism class in high school, and I was like, wait a minute, dudes you can make a living by just writing and talking about sports. It's like, I think that's the second best thing, right? So like I always knew for a while, I was lucky that I knew for a while that's what I wanted to do. I played college soccer at a school that was kind of outside New York City, so that helped a lot with like internships and stuff. I always wanted to do soccer, but I was open to like doing NBA stuff. So I'm a big basketball fan, some other stuff. I was just going wherever the opportunities were really while I was still writing about soccer. I got lucky to get my foot in the door at MLSsoccer.com I got the email to the editor-in-chief at the time. And I was like, hey, here are 5 article ideas that I wanted to pitch. And he's like, hey, thanks for the email. Don't like any of these ideas, but read your clips and like, hey, like maybe we could talk. And I was like, sure, what do you have in mind? And then he kind of brought me in for, honest to God, he called it a trial, which I thought was pretty funny. Brought me in for a trial and got lucky from there.
That's interesting.
That's nice.
Now, one more thing before we get into the actual pitch stuff. You look like you're a distinguished gentleman that loves to dress well. So I had a question. Look at his mustache.
It's majestic.
Exactly. For sure. That's majestic right there. Ray Hudson quote right there. So I want to know, would you be caught wearing something, let's say, like this?
No, it's tough. It's extraordinarily tough.
I cannot believe that Balenciaga has dropped this apparel. And if I were to say, what do you think the price tag on that is?
Well, it's Balenciaga. You kind of must be like $1,000 or something, right? To be a full kit wanker and whatever the hell that is.
$1,000. $1,000.
Is high fashion just like you have to look dumb and then be like, no, you don't get it. It's fashion. I get it more than you because I think I look good. Is like that. Is that part of the whole bit? Like it's like art collecting. It's like if you just say you're smart and you're an art guy, maybe give a little European accent. Then like even if the painting is shit, you can just be like, I know more than you. You just don't understand it. Like, maybe that's a fashion play here.
It's a good thing that kid's wearing sunglasses.
Well, how much with that?
Looks like he stepped on pancakes with the shoes too. I think that I was distracted by that.
It's really bad. So
those look like the jumpers for basketball.
Tom, you're a Knicks fan.
Yes, sir. Big Knicks fan. Big, long time struggling Knicks fan, but things have been good. I was at the Garden this week when they put the smackdown on the Blazers. That was nice.
No.
First game of the season for me, so that was juiced.
Chris is a big Knicks fan also.
Sexy.
All right.
Bing bong.
Ding dong.
All right, so Messi won Best FIFA Men's Player of 2023. I had those people at Fabian. We just had him on last week. He posted on there. He's been getting a lot of backlash. They said that he felt like that was almost a testament to League's Cup and the validity of League's Cup. Now, I wouldn't go take it to that extent. I think they were just being nice to Messi, giving him one last trophy on the way out because he's not getting any more. Tom, what do you think about the League's Cup and the way people view it across the country?
I like it. I was a little bit. I was excited, like cautiously optimistic about it before it started. I understood all the skepticisms. My biggest worry was that if the teams didn't really care enough, right? Like this was only going to be as good as the teams cared. If the CONCACAF Champions League used to be awful at the beginning, like MLS teams are using it with like their rotation. The Mexican teams weren't like it wasn't what it is right now because teams really didn't care. They didn't have enough of incentive to care. I guess that they made enough of an incentive for the Leagues Cup where like those felt like playoff games. Like it was a lot of fun. Like I liked it. Again, I was pretty optimistic about it, to be fair, but like it exceeded my expectations, so I liked it a lot. I wouldn't go as far as to say that it's determining these awards, so I wouldn't go that far. Yeah, but I will say it passed the sniff test for me in year one. I'm happy to see what happens in year two. Like again, they obviously have kinks to work out. I understand the Liga MX teams like weren't thrilled. Like I don't know, maybe it was just at the end when they're like, oh, we don't have any teams in the finals because we didn't get to play any games at home. Well, like the people putting together this tournament wanted it to be in the United States. Like the people representing the Mexican clubs wanted it in the United States. It wasn't like MLS was like, you can only do this if this. Like that was a mutually beneficial thing. And again, I get it. I get on the sporting side why wouldn't be thrilled about it, but like that was something that not only they agreed to, like they pushed for. So I didn't buy that, but I did really like the tournament, and I'm looking forward to it this year.
Could you see something like that changing? You think that maybe they'd go like this year Mexico or this year both countries?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. But again, like the foundation of this idea, like in a business sense, it was MLS wants the soccer fans in the United States who are Liga MX fans to come some more MLS 8 games. The Liga MX teams wanted their fans that are in the United States to be able to come to more games, right? Like, so the whole idea was predicated around it being here. And again, maybe because it was teams took it much more, like took it very seriously. Maybe that there's enough of like, okay, maybe we can rethink that and we'll have, group stages in America and then like kind of go back and forth in the knockout rounds or whatever, but we'll see. Like, I think that's all on the table. They've already changed several things in the first few years of this iteration, but like when it was being soft launched or whatever. So like, and again, making fun of MLS, they change things a lot anyway. So it's like, I don't think that it's out of the question that there will be tweaks to this. But again, like I really did like the first kind of go at it.
I was listening to a podcast earlier today. It's called Managing Expectations Podcast. And it was from November 2nd, 2022. And the host, Mr. Tom Bogert, gave a take about how he felt about Messi coming and how he was just surprised that it was, even in the conversation, that it was like a legit chance that he would be coming here. So we are now here, January 15th, 2024. How do you feel about this whole Messi thing?
Took me a second to be like, whoa, what that podcast sounds familiar. I was like, oh yeah, I used to do that for a little bit. Now we should switch it up to YouTube. Evolving with the times.
And by the way, I want before I know I'm gonna give you a chance to plug it afterwards. But
no, that wasn't me trying to show myself. I'm not good at that anyway. I was just making fun of myself. Right. So yeah, look, like my thoughts have stayed similar in that like it was also like just trying to conceptualize that he turned down $1.5 billion in Saudi Arabia. It's nothing that we can really imagine. And like, again, like just taking a step back, the macro view, that's obvious. Like if a player's going somewhere for money, it's Saudi. And like, this wasn't even close. Like it's so awesome that he's here. And then it felt like, you know what I mean? It's like one of those things it's tough to put expectations towards because they could be anything and they can be sky high. And you don't want to set yourself up to be like, wow, what if he's not, the very best version of himself, which is, again, literally the very best player of all time. And then, like, when he got here, it's like, oh, my God, like, this dude is incredible. It's kind of, like, lived up to all the expectations. Like, I was at, again, like, the Leagues Cup debut. Like, it was, like, written by Hollywood scriptwriters. I was at Red Bull Arena for his, like, MLS, like, league debut. He starts on the bench. He comes, like, the assist of the year, or sorry, the goal of the year he passed it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like at every point, it's like, oh, this can't happen. Oh, this can't happen. Oh, they're down 2-0 at halftime to FC Cincinnati in the U.S. Open Cup semifinal. Okay, it's finally going to stop now. And then it's just like time and time again, it's just unreal, man. And like, it is really cool to see just how many people kind of come out of like, who, again, this is a global icon. This is a generational, this is a world icon of like the history of the globe, right? Not just like athletes, not just right now. And like seeing how many more people are looking at the league and looking at Miami, I think is just an awesome thing. And again, hopefully it spurs more positive change in this league. But again, it is just well and truly surreal, even though that this has been in the works for several years and we all kind of hoped or maybe thought it would happen. Like I wasn't even really mentally prepared for it because it's just been even better than I could have meant.
For sure.
Well, and you're speaking a little bit about sort of what the perspective is from like the MLS fans perspective, and a lot of MLS guys, they kind of don't like this whole Messi deal, right? I mean, but like, what's your opinion on this? Do you think it's good for the MLS? Do you think it's bad? Like, what do you think?
In terms of like the structure of the deal?
No, in terms of like the best
parity, because some people are saying that we're getting rid of parity because they're allowing Inter Miami to sign Luis Suarez on a TAM deal, so they're saying that it's not fair.
No, man, but that's the thing. Like there's still going to be parity. Like they're going to be the overwhelming favorite, but like I don't know, man. Like they didn't make the playoffs, right? Like I know that they came in, like the players came mid-season. They had to sacrifice a couple of the MLS games, the regular season games, because of the Leagues Cup run, and they won Leagues Cup. But like they still didn't make the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like it's still there's still going to be that parity, and like what can MLS if Luis Suarez says, I don't care, I've made $1 billion in my career or whatever the actual number is, all I've wanted to do and all I've said I've wanted to do for the last 5-6 years since the day he left Barcelona, I want to play with Messi again. Like what is MLS supposed to, like there's no screw you have to go play for Minnesota United because they'll pay you more. I understand like the fans being like, oh, this isn't fair, but like how do you legislate against this? Like honest to God, part of me thought, like, dude, no way is Nico Ladero going to take, like, a $400,000 deal just to play with these guys. And, like, he ends up going to Orlando, right? Excited. I was like, no way, right? Like, so, like, yeah, like, Messi's a draw. South Florida's a draw. LAFC just got Hugo Lloris for $350,000. Like,
isn't he like
I talked to GMs and goalkeeper? He's like the 27th highest paid, something like that. Like, I talked to, like, scouts and GMs at other teams, and, like, some of them are like, look, like, that deal just doesn't exist for us. And in one hand, it's like, yeah, that kind of sucks, but it's like, all of them, they understand it. They know the jobs they signed up for. They know in Toronto you get more money. They know in LA you get all these, like, Chris Henderson is the sporting director of Miami. Well, like, you have to do the whim of Lionel Messi and David Beckham and Tata Martino now. Like, everybody knows what they signed up for here, right? Like, again, even if you're Pork Smith, Colorado Rapids, yeah, Messi ain't coming, right? Whether it's money, whether it's Colorado, whether it's whatever, like, but they know that. So you have to lean into what you lean in. Philly, like they've leaned into development. Like San Jose is trying this now, right? Like, so yeah, I understand the worries, I guess, about parity, but like that's the beauty of parity. Like, go ahead, do it your own way. And like, there's still only 3 DP spots per team, right? Like, so if Luis Suarez is going to take a sweetheart deal, like, what can you do? You can't force him at gunpoint. No, take more money and go play somewhere else. Like, whatever.
Were you surprised that they didn't add a 4th DP spot? Because I was shocked.
No, not at all.
Really?
There wasn't any. That wasn't a real thing. They weren't talking about that.
Well, I guess I didn't expect Luis Suarez
to come like a fantastical unicorn that people were like hoping for.
People believe whatever they see on Twitter. It doesn't matter if there's any legitimacy to it. And then it became a narrative. And I'm talking to owners that are in these meetings, and they're like, we have not discussed this one single time. and like they're like, we're discussing changes. A 4th DP isn't one of them. It's like everybody, the people I was speaking to were saying like 2025 is what they're focusing more the change from. And I was very disappointed that the lack of change this winter, but like setting the expectation at a 4th DP was not on the table. One of the things that I hoped that they should have done was decoupling the U22 initiative and the DPs, so that you can have 3 senior DPs and 3 U22 initiatives. That would help Miami a lot. Yes, that would help Miami a lot. But like a lot of these rules are like a little bit slower, and teams were like, part of the discussion was some general managers. I know for a fact some general managers are saying that like we don't want to let Miami do that immediately because all the other rule changes we do, we take more time than this, or we agree to it and then it comes into effect next season. So like, I know for a fact that went into the discussions, but like that was like the biggest level of change that might have come, or like increasing the roster a little bit, right? Like there wasn't a fourth DP. There wasn't an idea to increase the salary cap $4 or $5 million that just got voted down. It wasn't even discussed.
Yeah.
I wish it would have, though, because I mean, I'd like to see bigger names spread out across the league.
Well, do you think teams are willing to pony up like how Inter Miami is kind of doing right now?
Not again, like, and that's why Jorge Mas and ownership deserve a lot of credit for pulling this off to begin with. Like, and then going into the South America for $15 million worth of U22 initiative players, like, well done by them. But like, I think like Toronto would have added a third senior DP. Garth Lagerwey, when he was in Seattle, they mostly did it with 3 senior DPs, and like I think he would do that in Atlanta if they were able to have. But like teams know that it just makes more sense to be able to have all 3 of those U22 initiative slots. So again, like I think that's an easy change, and that's something that should have happened already. But whatever, it didn't. You can't talk about hope for what should be or shouldn't be. You just got to kind of push through with what is. So, but yeah, like it depends, like team by team, market by market. Galaxy, LAFC, Toronto. Hell, even Cincinnati, like some Columbus, probably. Like there are at least more than half the like. There's more teams like that for me than there are FC Dallas and San Jose, right, and Philly.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So I know that you only have a few more minutes with us, so I just wanted to run through because I know people in the chat want to know about.
It's my fault. I'm rambling. That's not on you. That's on me.
No, not at all. It's Miami transfer rumors. All right. So let's see. Stefanelli and Coco Jean, those are 2 players that Inter Miami fans expect to be gone. Gregory, more or less, everybody's kind of wondering what his status is. And then we're wondering if Christian Medina from Boca in Argentina is an option for us. Want to know if maybe you have any idea on any of those 4 players.
Yeah, so I'll just kind of try to go rapid fire on these. The Christian Medina stuff, I don't know it like to be true or not or false. Like I don't have any inside info, but I will say they can add a young DP. Like, so that would be, again, we're just talking about the money spent. Like, if they did that, that'd be phenomenal because Leo Campana was already bought down by the end of last season, and Gregory can as well. That takes a lot of allocation money. They did just trade Kamal Miller to get more allocation. Like, they need allocation money as much as they can possibly get. That's why I think it would make sense. So again, like, I don't know if Medina is true or not true, but they can add a young DP because there's a lot of Inter Miami rumors that come out, and it's just very easy to be like, that's literally impossible by the finances. Like, we don't even have to look into this, right? But that one is something that could happen. But again, I don't know if it's true or not. Gregory is an interesting one.
Let's get a Tom bomb.
Gregory's an interesting one, right? Like, I think he has the most value of like, they didn't want to trade Kamal Miller. That wasn't the plan. They did. Like, Portland kept asking, like, Miami were like, these are the players that we kind of want to get rid of or to generate more money, have to get rid of. And Kamal wasn't one of them. And Portland said, we would love Kamal Miller. Call us in a couple weeks if you like feel stuck.
Change your mind.
And then that's how that deal kind of, it was like they weren't planning to. So I don't know if they would be planning to move Gregory. Gregory was their best player in the pre-Miami, the 6 months before Messi. Sorry. Well, I know he only played a few games at the beginning of the season, but you get my point.
Yeah.
But he clearly has more value than John Mata. But he fits so much like the best 11 here. Like him being Busquets' bodyguard would be awesome. Like that'd be the best case scenario. So if I'm Chris Henderson, I'm exhausting everything else before I transfer or trade Gregory. Again, I'd be trying with John Mata because that's easy to get his salary out and hopefully get a little allocation money, or if you sell him to Brazil, whatever. And then on Coco John or Stefanelli, yeah, it makes sense. I think more so for Coco John if they're going to use their buyout to be on him. Again, I'm sure that they're trying to get actual money for him, so they don't have to pay for him, whatever. But like, yeah, I think your deductions are correct that like those 2 salary cap charges just don't make any sense whatsoever in this current group. Stefanelli, there were some rumors that like there was a little bit of a nudge from Messi to sign him. I don't know if that's true or if just people were deducing that because he's Argentine. So maybe that one's a little bit more complicated. But Coco John is somebody who I think it'd make a lot of sense if they get rid of him, whether it's a buyout or a trade.
Local reporters over the last few hours started reporting that Stefanelli is probably on his way over to Everton in Chile, I believe.
Oh my God! What? No. Brandon Craig is training with them right now in Philly, and I was like, "What in the world is going on?"
No. Everton and Chile. No, first time I read Everton, I thought the same thing. I was like, "That's quite the jump. So 2 more player questions, real quick. DeAndre Yedlin, do you think he's going to stay with Inter Miami?
Yes.
Because you really okay.
Yeah. So Tata Martino doesn't see Julian Gressel primarily as a right back.
Okay.
Like he sees like. I don't know if that means more central midfielder or right winger, but like he's going to play minutes at right back. That's my assumption at least. But like Tata's view of him is center mid or right wing. Like, go back to Atlanta those 2 years, he really played like he'd play right back if they really needed him to, if they really were trying to get other players on the field. Like, he's here because of his creativity. He's here for, just think of all the games without Messi and the attack looked really stuck. And again, that's not to put on the pressure to Julian Gressel or Facundo Farias or anybody else that, like, hey, Messi's out, go be Messi. But that's just another route and another angle to be creative. If things get bogged down, he is the best crosser in MLS. Leo Campagna thrives on service, and obviously Luis Suarez, I don't need me to tell you how good. Like, that's just another avenue that, all right, we got stuck, just have Julian whipping crosses, and that gives us another dimension, hopefully frees up more space. So, yeah, he's not here to replace Yedlin. He's here to play with him. But, again, Miami are going to play 60 games, including preseason. He's going to they're probably going to get a lot of minutes at right back, too.
Oh, that's interesting. So, yeah, I thought he was coming in to replace Yedlin because I can't see him fitting in the midfield. And then one last question before, if anybody in the chat has a quick question for, I know the time is about to run out.
I'm good for a couple questions.
Preseason World Tour. What do you think? Because this has been quite the topic of conversation here in the Inter Miami circles. I think it's a great thing. I think it's a little overdone, the whole travel. Maybe I'm wrong. I want to kind of get your thoughts on this preseason World Tour.
It's tough, man. There's
gotta get the name out there.
Yeah, and like if not now, then when? But how do you balance the they either go into the Caribbean to East Asia to China, and then like CONCACAF Champions League starts, and it's just like
logistically it could have been better.
Yeah,
I get it. You got again, like I'm sure these are very lucrative. Again, it's from Saudi Arabia to China to Hong Kong. I'm sure that's very lucrative, and that's how you help pay for some of these signings. So like I'm not naive enough to think that the business aspect doesn't come into it. But look, if they look like shit in their first couple games of the season, whether it's fair or unfair, that this preseason tour is going to get blamed for it. So they better come out strong.
Oh, and if Messi randomly gets injured,
oh my God,
the game in China. But it's going to be ridiculous because it's going to have nothing to do with it. He would have gotten injured if he was playing in Colorado. But people
exactly.
Like, you see it was the stupid preseason. I can't wait for that to happen. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I really fucking hope not. I really hope not.
No. All right, Chris. We're gonna let Tom go now. So if you would like to go ahead, Tom, if you would give us just a minute or two to give Chris the chance to ask his stupid questions.
Go ahead, Chris.
It's not stupid questions. They're totally necessary to life. But let me get to some of the questions. I got 3 from the chat. Okay. Mike V is asking, do you still enjoy performing Bohemian Rhapsody?
I went to the last 2 summers. There's been a really good Queen cover band that's played at this really good kind of theater near me. And it's funny watching people walk around with like the fake mustaches, and like I wonder if people like have to do a double take, like, oh, that's a real one.
Nice. And then so we got from the Don question for you: how much Inter Miami gear do you own?
I don't think anything. I don't think so, because teams sometimes teams show their appreciation by throwing me something.
Yeah,
I don't have. I bought my sister an Inter Miami like tank top. That's the closest I've come to owning an Inter Miami thing.
Okay. And then we'll go with one of the last ones I saw in the chat. Any news on Dixon Arroyo before I get to my awesome questions?
Yeah, nothing new. I mean, it makes sense that like they need to, like I said, like the themes of what we've already been talking about. They need to free up cap space any way they can. They have about 7 central midfielders already. So again, this isn't an indictment on Arroyo's ability or his quality in Miami. This is just a reality of the salary cap, and that they already have all these center mids. And again, now that you know that I think Julian Gressel will play mostly there, or that one's more of a guess, but like they just have too many bodies in central midfield to make that make sense.
Okay, all right. So let me eliminate that question. Oh, you already got it, Danny. Okay,
yeah.
So here's some life-altering questions here, Tom. All right, when it comes to life, which steak are you picking, and which toast are you picking on this list?
The chat will judge you based off of this.
Oh, I know. 2 or 3 on the steak.
Okay, good man.
That one's good. Medium rare kind of guy. And then I'm like a lightly toast guy. So probably something between 2 and 3. I'll call it 2.5.
Okay.
A little bit longer on the calendar.
That's the first 0.5 we get.
And
oh my God! Vertical, not this. Why cut it into triangles? I don't get it.
What?
Why? What is the point?
What?
What's the point?
You know, you are the first guest to ever agree with Chris on this ridiculous. What the?
And I feel pretty strongly about this one.
And then
That one.
to finish it off, I made a video when I was in the grocery store shopping, and I am a.
I can't wait to see where this goes.
I am a front cart holder when I shop.
Oh my God, what's wrong with you?
Well, I was going to ask you, do you hold the front of the cart or the back of the cart?
Who taught you to pull the cart like that?
Man.
Listen, that's the
How
best
do you
way
even
to
learn
be able
that?
to go. That's the way to go, baby.
He's a caveman. I'm telling you.
You're crazy.
He's a psychopath. Exactly. All right.
I agree with Mike V.
So, real quick, we have a bunch of new viewers that watch from all over the world because of Messi, obviously. So we were trying to get people from different parts of MLS to come to kind of expose everybody to know that's more than just Messi and it's Miami. So please, everybody that weren't familiar with Tom Bogert works for The Athletic. He is everybody loves Fabrizio from all over the world. Tom Bogert is better than Fabrizio, and he does the MLS. So go ahead. For some reason, your @ isn't showing up, but make sure you give him a follow on Twitter. He has a new YouTube channel. Feel free to plug that, Tom, before you head out.
Yeah, just YouTube @ Tom Bogert. Figure it out as we go along. And so there's a little unintentional comedy there as Mitra's trying to do this. And it's pretty good because, for the Freddie Mercury jokes, it's like a piano bar because I'm like, I hadn't been a huge consumer of YouTube. So I was like, I don't even know what you guys want. So I was like, I'm just going to try to do what feels good. It's like, I don't know, tell me in the comments what to do. And like, there's been a couple people said, I was like, oh, that's a great idea. I'll do that next week. Like, cool. So there is some fun in that to be like, hey, idiot, like this would be a good idea. Oh yeah, I hadn't thought of that. Perfect. So yeah, just YouTube @ Tom Bogert, Twitter @ Tom Bogert.
And it's really easy consumable episodes because they're from what I saw 8-9 minutes long. So
that's kind of been the sweet spot so far.
So go ahead, check them out. Awesome, and we really appreciate you taking the time to have some fun with us and join us for the 27 minutes that you were here. So thank you very much for the time.
I appreciate you guys. This was a lot of fun. Look forward to being back again.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Cheers, guys.
All right, Chris. So he is a weirdo when it comes to
his bread
cutting sandwiches. He is a human being when pushing his shopping carts. So we're not going to go too much longer, right? Because like we said, we're cutting the length of these episodes down a bit. Were you surprised with anything he said? Because I was kind of surprised with what he said about Julian Gressel. I still don't believe that he's going to be playing the midfield. I think that he might see some time there, here and there, right? Because you need a lot of rotation, and you're going to have some moments where you see him there. But I think he's predominantly going to be playing the right back. But I mean, I guess I could be wrong. Obviously, Tom said otherwise, but that's what I believe.
Well, and before I give you my answer, so Liquid Cadmus is asking if we play soccer with friends or enjoy watching the game. Danny and I actually played together about a week ago.
And I played yesterday. I play every Sunday. Every Sunday, and then yesterday was the first time. And actually, somebody from Vice City was out there. I don't know if they watched the show. If they watched the show, I forgot to ask him for his name, but somebody was out there playing from Vice City yesterday. And I was playing, and it's the first time in my life, well, not my life, in the 20 years that I've had two metal plates and 9 screws going in my right ankle. And it was the first time since I've had that I get kicked square in the metal plate. And never would I have imagined that it was going to hurt that much. I'm still limping. I had to stop playing, and I'm still limping around today. But yes, we play soccer.
Wait, let me tell you who I was surprised about. I was actually surprised about the fact that he said so vehemently that Kamal Miller, the team didn't want to trade him.
That makes sense.
That was pretty surprising to me too. Yeah. I mean, that kind of shows that they understood the value of Kamal Miller to the team. Mm-hmm. But look, I mean, this guy's big money when it comes to the players back there on the defensive side. So, I mean, if you could be able to get big money off of him, that was interesting. And then Yedlin, the quickness when it came to him responding whether he's going to stay or not, like, yeah, he's staying because of the simple fact that Gressel is probably going to be seen on the right a little bit more above. So,
Well, look, and I'm like I said, I thought that it was cool that he let us know about the Kamal Miller thing because we all said they don't make this move unless they have somebody in mind. Now it sounds like they were almost forced to make this move. So
Absolutely.
maybe now they're just trying to figure things out now, because maybe they didn't have something in mind. They just knew that they had to get this money in order to facilitate the Gressel move, the Luis Suarez move, and all these other things. So that was interesting. So I guess we'll see how we go from there. Yes, Chris, you about to say something?
No, I was gonna say, and then the whole Dixon Arroyo thing. Like everybody's asking about Dixon Arroyo, but like in what I don't know, guys. In what world do you see us staying with Dixon Arroyo?
If Gregory
I don't
stays,
see
Arroyo's
it.
not coming back. The
There's
only way I see
absolutely
Arroyo
no
possibly
way.
signing again is if Gregory's here.
And thank you for coming on, Giannina, for the first time.
1985, the greatest year of all time.
That is.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, I mean, most of the stuff that he went over, I kind of wasn't surprised about, but you know, in terms of like Yedlin, I'm surprised about that. I think it would be great to see him stay. I think he's going to be great. I think he's going to be better than what a lot of people anticipate, for sure.
Yeah, you know what? When Gressel got here, I thought that meant almost for sure that Yedlin was leaving. But if Yedlin stays, maybe everybody's right. Maybe Gressel will see more time at midfield.
Yeah.
I just find it hard to believe, but maybe. I've probably been wrong about this all along, but I couldn't imagine that they would both be here, because I can't imagine Gressel playing the midfield. I feel like our midfield is pretty stacked, especially if Gregory stays. Gregory, Busquets, we got Gomez, we got Kremaki. Oh, you know what? You know what it is? I keep imagining Medina on this team. Medina's not part of this team yet.
Yeah.
And I keep thinking to myself that Medina is taking one of those spots.
If you speak it into existence, it's a possibility. So Jonas Van de Veer is saying, what do you guys expect from Robert Taylor?
I meant to ask Tom about Robert Taylor. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That would have been a good one. That would have been a good one, because he was a gem last year. Just like how Jonas Van de Veer says, listen, I don't know if you know, Jonas, but we ended up getting back this guy named Emerson from Colombia.
Oh, God.
So he might be stealing Messi's minutes. Okay. let's not kid ourselves here. All right, guys.
All right, Chris. Do we have any final? The season starts in 5 days. We still have absolutely no idea how we're gonna watch it, but you would assume that it should be visible somewhere. Apple TV knows that if they were to televise that it's gonna get crazy ratings just because it's Messi, right?
Listen, anybody in the Batter fam, if you guys know how we're gonna be able to watch this game without Franco giving us play-by-play updates on Twitter, like, am I gonna have to put Franco on my speed dial and be like, Franco, I need minute-to-minute updates?
I'll give you this, Chris. I've had a few people message me some illegal ways to watch it, so I'm not gonna make those public on here. But
I mean,
I'll let you know, because I've heard a couple of illegal ways to possibly watch that game.
I mean, is somebody gonna be standing on the sideline with a fucking Polaroid or what?
No, it's being televised in El Salvador.
Oh, okay. So we got some El Salvador things. Look at Mike V. Look at Mike V already on that pirate shit. Already on that pirate shit. Look at this guy.
Well, Messi traveled to El Salvador. I believe so. I believe Tata said that he would. And Chris, did you see that Luis Suarez was asked about his knees?
That's the stupidest question. I can't believe they asked him about his stupid.
It needed to be asked, Chris. I don't remember what he answered, but it needed to be asked.
And what did he respond?
I don't remember. He probably said that he was fine.
He probably said he's fine. Exactly. Because
but it needs to be asked.
Say? Like, oh, my knee snapped 3 times this morning.
But it needed to be asked. It needed to be asked. All right, Chris, any final thoughts before we sign off on this episode on Monday?
Joe Kerr's mentioning broadcast production schedule, doesn't even have it listed yet. It's not on the Inter Miami app.
On the Inter Miami app, it literally says that the next game is January 29th. It's like this game doesn't even exist.
Yeah. Guys, you want to know my last thoughts, Danny? Guys, go buy fucking Inter Miami license plates, bro. I want my fucking Inter Miami license plate. I'm getting real tired of this shit. Okay?
Ooh, look. Pablo letting us in. It was the very first question asked by Michelle Kaufman. You see, Chris? Michelle Kaufman is a vet. She knew what she had to do. Right out the blocks.
Fuck give me the knees. Knees update, baby.
Look at that. First question right out the box. Tell me about them knees.
Give me a controversial response. No, his knees are fine. Good job.
But it needed to be asked, Chris. It needed to be asked. Oh, man. All right. Any final thoughts, Chris, before we sign off here?
That's it. Those are my final thoughts. Go buy a fucking Inter Miami plate. Listen, even for those of you, Rohan, you don't live in Florida, get a license plate, buddy. Okay,
Mhm.
that way when you move to Florida, you can have one waiting for you.
Yeah. Oh man, I forgot to wear. Now that Rohan's on here, I forgot to wear my my Real Madrid jersey since they beat Barcelona 4-1, and Vinicius hit the see. Oh man,
Nice.
damn it, I forgot to wear it. Anyway, all right. On Wednesday we'll be back at 9:00 with we have Alex Winley joining us on Wednesday at 9:00. So please join us on Wednesday. We'll be talking a lot more into Miami. Hopefully we got some moves from here to then. And and he's a Liverpool guy. So is Tom Bogert.
Oh, that's
he is
right.
also
Tom Bogert.
is a Liverpool guy also. So there you go, Rohan. Go follow Tom Bogert on Twitter because he's also a Liverpool guy. All right.
As long as you're not an Arsenal guy.
Yeah, no, we don't deal with Arsenal guys on here. All right, if you are listening on audio, we appreciate you listening all the way to the end. Please leave us 5 stars, comment, review, all that other good stuff. And if you are watching on YouTube, we appreciate you sticking all the way to the end. Please like, subscribe. And actually, I haven't done this in a while, so I'm just going to do this for the first time in a while. And if you want some original, I haven't even updated the t-shirts on here. If you want some original Inter Miami merchandise, please visit batterfans.com. And as always, for those of you joining us in the chat, we appreciate you taking the time. As always, you guys are the best part of the show. And until the next one, have a good one.